It's the 17th of January, and here's a look at some of the plants in my garden. These are young seedlings. The one closer to the right there is how I dig them up. They're just wild seedlings. This is Japanese Aralia. I forget the Latin name. It's very cold hardy. You can even grow this in England and some parts of inland Europe. So there's some seedlings here. The smaller one to the right is about how big they are when I dig them up, as another demolition truck drives past. The largest of the smaller ones there are, I've been growing them on for about a year now, and some from about a year before are that larger one there that's now more than half a metre of stem and probably about a metre when you include the leaf stalks. It's a nice tropical looking plant, totally useless, except as a windbreak or a hedge if you had several of them. If we look up there, that's the parent one from growing over the fence there, the neighbours, and it drops seeds. And that's where the small ones, seedlings, come in pots of things or just in the ground. As you see, I've got several of those. There's a few more over there. Now these I'm very pleased with. These here are Ravenea rivularis, Ravenea by the waterside from a wet area of Madagascar. I got these 2 or 3 years ago. They were $2 each, and they were like blades of grass. I believe I actually got small ones where I got 3 in the same pot for $2. So I scored a bit there. And it's taken me, I got 6 initially, and 2 didn't survive last winter. They were on the shelf there with the plastic greenhousey thing happening, and as we came into spring they died. So these 4 have survived, so perhaps a tiny bit more cold tolerant than the others. And high hopes for these in Christchurch. They are the most beautiful palm you can get that looks anything like a tropical palm, and you need to have several because they're male and female on separate plants. So if you want any chance of getting fruit off them, seeds. Those larger ones there are, of course, Trachycarpus fortunei, the Chinese windmill palm, and they'll grow pretty much anywhere. They'll take a lot of cold, damp, wet. And what you can't see underneath in that shelf unit there is some cotton palms. They were badly broken in the earthquake, so again I grow those from little wee $2 blades of grass, and they're a little bit big for being behind in that shelf unit. Actually it's blocking them a little bit, but it also makes them a bit harder to steal. They'll certainly grow anywhere around Christchurch and Canterbury. They won't take quite as much cold as the Trachycarpus palm, but they have thorns and pretty hardy still. And there's some seedlings up there. Phoenix palms. I'm not sure exactly because some came from date seeds that were in packets of dates or fresh dates that I bought and planted the seeds. So that'd be the edible date palm, and some are from seedlings I dug up around a big old canary date palm in a park. So once they get older, the commercial date, the African Arabian date palm, goes a more bluish colour to the foliage, so you can tell when they get a bit older. The African Arabian one can't take as much cold or wet, whereas the Canary Island date palm can. Okay, here we are, the 17th of January. Now that is the New Zealand Nikau palm. That's the one and only palm that is truly native to New Zealand. This, it is found in a country area a little bit outside of Christchurch, so this is the very lowest part of its naturally occurring range on the east coast. On the west coast it goes down perhaps a little bit further. It can grow further south than that if it's protected by humans in its younger years. This is another one that, again, it was a little $2 blade of grass when I bought it a couple of years ago, and now that's about 8 inches, 200 millimeters high at its highest, so still very small. It actually likes shade. It tends to be, certainly in its younger years. Now this one here is the Livingstone chinesis. I earlier misidentified these as Australis. Once it gets older, it will have large, almost circular leaves, so actually very striking. One assumes they're from China. Again, that was a $2 blade of grass, and in the South Island for a palm that's good value. So that one's, what, nearly half a metre high there on its tallest stalk. I have a total of 2 of those. Now that one there, that is the Kokis Palm. Let's have a look. And all around the bottom there, as you see my parsley, I had one parsley plant go to seed, and of course it's gone everywhere. So that's a Kokis Palm. That's with the frilly bits of the leaves there, close to a metre high. They're the ones that in Perth are so common that even I get sick of seeing them. But given that that's weathered the snow, and that was outside all winter, they're said to be cold hardy in a Christchurch winter, but I've never seen any growing outside. I've seen them in garden centres, large ones for $200+. And that there is a Butia capitata, which, now let's see, I got that one in 2006. So it has taken it 6 years to get that big. It's been outdoors all that time. As you see, it's well over a metre high, probably getting the sun if I try to go up too high. And of course these can fruit and give you edible fruits. They're a distant relative of the Cocos here, and that again can give you edible fruits. So as that gets the light there. So I've got 2 of the Butias. I've got 7 of the Cocos altogether. None of the Butias have died, none of the Cocos have died. The Cocos were $2 plants. The Butias were like $25 each, but I bought them as a much larger plant, as a slightly larger plant. And of course the good old Phoenix canariensis, a Canary Island date palm, grow pretty much anywhere. And if you've got a female one, it will give you edible dates that are edible, but you only want to eat them if you're starving. Arguably, the palms could grow quicker if I gave them more sun. They're here on the western side of the house, so they get the full western exposure to the sun. They, where they are in amongst there, effectively gives them a little bit of protection from the worst of winter weather, and keeps them a little bit obscured so people don't nick them. Because you don't want to spend 6 years growing something and have some dude nick it someday. So there we go. Just moved the mandarin tree out of the way so I could lift the palms out. Obviously needs to go in the ground. It's only in a bucket. Grapefruit trees poking right up there. That's, well, 1.5 meters, getting on towards 2 meters high now. So, and the beans have gone absolutely crazy. I'll just get a bit of a shot of the beans there. Just trying not to get the sun angle here wrong. So I've been getting massive crops of beans, as many as I can possibly eat, and giving them to neighbours. So it'll probably be the case for the next 3 or 4 months. And that is about it. Oh, it's not completely it though, These are American cotton palms. Now these three here were all smashed down in the earthquake to little more than the little centre spike. I had to repot, the pots were all smashed to bits, and they were just all smashed to bits. And this is the biggest one, this is about as big as they were. They've actually approaching the size that they were before the earthquake, being they were on the eastern side of the house. When the two-storey brick wall fell on top of them, it pretty much buggered them up. So I've got two this size and a smaller one. The smaller one's just in there. A bit hard to see because there's the Cape gooseberry, and that plant wintered over. There's a little wee stick, and it's all shot away since, because that one that was there last year. So the frost kills them back to the ground here, whereas in West Australia they'll live with their above ground parts. Here it kills them back to the ground, but they'll come back with a vengeance the next year. So we're just coming up to getting some ripe Cape gooseberries on that, I reckon.